Alright folks, welcome to day 2/3 of the Corrupting Fever build. Going to run you through the gear I've purchased and sort of found, how the build's playing, just give you a final update on the build. This build's kind of come together pretty quickly. It pretty much has cost, if we do the maths, let's see this, it's cost 125C total, which is less than 1 divine. So what I've ended up purchasing is a wand for 10C, Mark of the Submission for 1C. So we've got a Poet's Pen, Mark of Submission. I solo self-found this ring, and I'm only using this because it has a lot of Chaos Res. The belt is just life, strength, and some fizz damage. That was 4 Chaos. The gloves were 4 Chaos again, the Hemophilia gloves. The boots were 3 Chaos, because if you look at them, most people will just see 1 resistance roll, some life and move speed, and there's millions of pairs of them. I just happened to need the dex and the int, so they were cheap. The amulet was probably one of my more expensive pieces of gear because it has fizz dot and some life with an open slot, and I just put a bit of leech on. And next we have the shield. I paid 24 chaos for this, like day 2 of the league. I think it's worth about 9 now. And the last piece we just unlocked was this chest piece. It was a 6-link astral plate for 50C, sorry, because we bought the base and then we spammed some essences on it, some life essences. This could be so much better. I'm waiting to unlock the betrayal craft for like max life, and I might even recraft this. The way we funded this was the one that we showcased in the last video, sold for 150C. It's pretty funny because the guy that I bought it off told me I was a moron for purchasing it, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. I then found a +1 fractured shield for 150C, and I sold a 6-link for 30C. Showcase of how it's looking. My gems have just dinged 20, so yeah, I'm gonna get a few levels up. I'll ignore them for the purpose of the video. But basically what's happening right now is you shield charge around, and I throw this out, and it's crushing stuff. It's really fun. It's very fast build, which is nice because, yeah, you know, it sucks, doesn't it, when you build slow and just not very fun. But this one you zip around, and you can just cruise through maps. I think it'd be a very good cheap mapper. Like I say, it hasn't really cost much to get going. It seems to scale quite well. Now the fun thing about this build is, as I'm getting a little bit more used to the league mechanic, right, it's pretty good for the league mechanic, because it's kinetic blast, which basically means that we can do things like splash off walls, and if the kinetic blast hits one of the enemies, like this enemy over here, I can kind of run away and just splash it, and if it bounces off the wall, it will apply one of my corrupted stacks. So I can kind of just hide and range things down like this, and as long as if one of the kinetic blasts explode, and there's tons of walls and stuff in this game mode, isn't there, it will apply bleed, which is really nice. So it works pretty well for the league mechanic accidentally, and also it works pretty well for Uberlab as well, because you have like 6 endurance charges. The reason I'm using a Poet's Pen is because I want to go Blunderbone, and I want to go some strength stacking, and then spell damage, I'll take Iron Will, and then spell damage will affect me, and then that will affect a Sanguinate. The reason I'm taking the Poet's Pen is because the damage is pretty similar, and I do like a Poet's Pen, and it does get to automatically fire out this spell, which is dealing a fair amount of damage. It just helps with clear speed and stuff, which this build is going to be kind of a mapper with the shrines and all of that stuff, so that's why I'm doing it. You can also obviously use the other wand, which is really easy to craft, which I explained in the last video. Just get a level 2 wand and spam minion essences on it, basically. Oh, and the helmet I should add in here was like 5C, because I was surprised that this helmet was so cheap. I bought it like day 1 of the league. I was like, oh, it's got 2 big resists and life and int. I guess because it's like int on an evasion base, maybe it was cheaper, but yeah. Uh, Flasks I'm using are just kind of winged together, movement speed, attack speed, armor, and evasion. Something basic with corrupting blood. So the links I'm using at this point are a sanguinate, brutality, and control destruction. That's that bleed spell I'm firing out there. I'm using malevolence, herald of purity and pride, and a frenzy gem with shield charge and faster attacks. I'm cursing with vulnerability on hit. Obviously, if you got vulnerability on hit, that opens up a whole other world of options with rings and stuff. But yeah, this is just a chaos ring, and then I'm using corrupting fever, swift affliction, reap, brutality, efficacy, life tap, and this basically makes 2 5 links. Now, if you're not using reap all the time, or you're not really using it, you could just slam another red gem in there, like an empower or something, right? And just run around a map with corrupting fever completely. The gloves have a banner in them, enduring cry, and a cast on damage taken molten shell setup. And then I just have my 4-link kinetic blast. So it's kinetic blast level 1, GMP, faster attacks, and life tap. They're all leveling up, so yeah. But you do leave kinetic blast at level 1. And that's kind of how it is. Again, it's I think it's come together quite well, the build. It's quite a zippy, zoomy build. And I don't have too much more to show you, apart from, obviously, I will now show you the tree. But yeah, you can see, like, if you compare it to my last showcase of the Blood Aqueducts, you can even tell on the Blood Aqueducts that it's got a lot faster. And obviously, like, Blood Aqueducts is no test, but it's just a showcase. Like, the speed is for sure improved. You can also put on a little setup where you use Stormbrand with life tap and Bulling Strike on your left click, but I found that a bit clunky, so I dropped that. But yeah, so if we go to the passive tree, I'll just basically show you the main things that I've been doing. So for a while, before I had my cluster jewel, I took this node because it gives you frenzy charge on kill, which is just kind of fun. So I took this node. Eventually, once I purchased the cluster jewel, which I should actually add that in, that was a 30C purchase. So it's 155C. Sorry about that. This just basically gives you attack and cast speed, Iron Breaker, and Master of the Fundamentals. And these jewels I've been buying for like 2C, man. So I'm barely even counting the jewel costs. All I'm looking for is physical damage over time, and then something else that's useful. So like, this one isn't very good. Those were self-crafted. This one I purchased for like 2C. I don't know how much they're worth. 1C, 5C, 5C. So you might be able to get some of them. I'm just looking for fizz damage and fizz damage over time. And that's kind of where I've just gone for. So I'm just putting in jewels with these. Obviously they can get better. Yeah, and this was like a 2C purchase, and this one also has minion damage, which is kind of nice because we use that. So that's all I've been doing. It's kind of nice. I've finally fully ascended, so I got my free banner. And now that I've got like the whole life tap set up and everything's going, what happens is when I press my corrupting fever, I will get adrenaline when it's fully leveled up with all of the correct costings. The reason it's not costing very much is because I've just de-leveled efficacy. But basically, you pop it, get adrenaline, and then I will Enduring Cry, and I'll basically get all my HP back instantly. And then I just begin the map, and I don't have to recast it now. There's no awkward thing about having to always recast it. It's just up the whole time, which is nice. And I think the builds work pretty well. Definitely a build I've enjoyed. I'll probably play this, the League mechanic, do the Atlas, and then I don't know how long I'm going to play the League because, yeah, I don't know how much I'll be enjoying it, but that was the build. Eventually, what I'll do is I'm going to transition to a Blunderborn and a Gull Mask, and I'm just going to put shrines on my Atlas, and I'm just going to run around with a load of shrine buffs and have some fun mapping. That's the plan. I don't care about doing Uber, Deathless Feared and all of that stuff. I've done that. I've had my fun doing that. I just want to enjoy mapping and see what happens. And it's pretty much the same gear, same one, same shield, same gloves. I might have to adjust some stuff to get some more strength, etc. But that's in the future. But hopefully that helped. That was a little update. Costs about a divine worth of gear, which I think is really reasonable for the level of power it's giving you, to be completely honest. I've not had an Exalt drop yet, and I've not had a Divine Orb drop. Definitely have more currency if I didn't waste RNG worse than Hurricane's penalty. 950 fuses are wasted into this chest piece. So give me some luck in the comments. Let me fit it up. But yeah, cheers for watching. Catch you later.